Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be providing a long-term market analysis update for Ethereum, and I'm going to be doing this through the lens of the logarithmic regression curves. So if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, by the way, feel free to check out our sponsors in the link in the description below. This channel is partnered with the cryptocurrency exchange FTX.us. So first, I do want to start off by talking about how these logarithmic curves are calculated, and they're basically all centered around this middle white line, which is calculated by taking a best fit line for all of Ethereum's entire price history going back here to 2015. And this best fit line models the logarithmic function, and the reason we're using this is because it is characterized by a pretty high rate of change at the beginning, and over time it does have that decaying volatility, which we know is pretty similar to Ethereum and Bitcoin by nature. So what I really want to focus on here is what happened towards the end of the market cycle back here in 2018 for Ethereum. And for specifically, I want to focus on the color that corresponded to the bottom. Now, that can be different depending on if you're looking at the bottom in December of 2018 or if you're looking at the bottom in March of 2020. Now, the reason this is because these logarithmic curves by nature are increasing over time. So even though the low of the last market cycle was in December of 2018, we did have the test of the lowest logarithmic curve in March of 2020 just because they have increased over time so much. So when we're looking at the 2018 bottom here, this corresponded to this turquoise colored logarithmic regression curve, which if we're going out to today, that lies around $760. And in fact, it is the next logarithmic curve down from here where we've already had our low in place. So going back here to June on that low around $880, we retested this logarithmic curve, which is one above what we had on the previous market cycle bottom. So this is quite interesting to me because over time, we have seen the bottoms form off of this region going right here to December 2016 after this extended period of consolidation. You could even call this a bear market with a pretty significant decline. We did also have a retest of this same logarithmic curve. So you could make the argument that if we do have a retest of that level going here into the next few months, that could be a pretty significant move, a pretty significant retest, marking a similar level of extension below this middle curve as we saw back here in December 2018, as well as December of 2016. Now, beyond that, we have the next logarithmic curve down from here, which was the one we retested in March of 2020. The furthest one, the dark blue line, which today lies around $390. Now, I do want to say I believe this is an unrealistic target, mainly because this move right here in March of 2020 was just such a black swan type event, and I don't expect something similar to play out where we have such an abrupt and quick capitulation down, taking us around 50% lower. So I do also want to talk about the fact that this market cycle around, we did not reach a regression curve that was similar to the previous highs. So that could be one of the arguments that say we weren't as extended to the upside above this middle curve, which means we might not have an extension as far to the downside. And I definitely see that argument. I definitely see that case. And that is a case that the bulls can point to, in that we have seen a pretty far extension below the middle curve. We have seen that diminishing volatility over time, so maybe it's not reasonable to expect as far of a drawdown below this middle curve representing the best fit line going all the way back here to 2015. So beyond that, I also want to discuss the fact that we can retest some of these lower regression curves in the cooler color range at some much higher valuations than what they are at today. Now, to illustrate this, I just want to zoom out a little bit here to get a bigger look on Ethereum extending out into, say, the end in the middle of next year. So I'm just going to extend out some of these regression curves to give you guys some sort of illustration of what we could be looking at in terms of a retest of some of these by their valuations. So looking at the lower curve from here, the one that we had a bottom off of in the 2018 bear market and this consolidation phase in 2016, just extending this out into, say, the middle of 2023, you can see that this could be all the way up around $960 by that time frame. So if we have a retest of a lower regression curve, do consider the fact that it doesn't mean we have to break below the current lows in place. And again, we saw something similar last cycle where in 2018 we did have the low on this turquoise colored logarithmic regression curve right around $82, and then later on in March of 2020 we had a retest of the very lowest regression curve in dark blue around $96. So a much higher valuation, even though it was 2 regression curves lower. So illustration of a potential scenario where we do get that retest of the logarithmic curve we saw the bottom off of in 2018 and 2016, we could have a move where, say, in the next few months, we continue to consolidate, and then towards the middle of 2023, maybe we have another retest lower, eventually starting to build up this base and leading into a new cycle. This would be one of the scenarios where we could have maybe a double bottom or a retest of this low right here in June without actually breaking structure and still getting that retest of the next logarithmic curve. Now, again, this certainly doesn't have to happen. This is just one of the arguments. And from my point of view, I definitely think that we have seen an extension far down enough where we have seen that pretty significant decline from the all-time high. And going back to the argument from earlier, seeing as how we had a very diminished peak this time around, right around this lime green color range, notice how in the last cycle we made it all the way up to the top of the regression curves. So that is one of the arguments where maybe we don't have to make it all the way back down to the lower regression curves. And I certainly don't think that it is necessary for Ethereum to have another leg down, just given the fact that we've already seen such a great capitulation, a lot of fear, a lot of sentiment has been wiped out. And from my perspective, I don't think that to form a bear market bottom, we have to get another leg down. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I definitely do see the case in which Ethereum has formed a longer term cycle low. Even if we get a retest or even if we get a lower regression curve into the next few months into 2023, I still think that this is going to be looked back upon as a longer term region where Ethereum has formed some sort of longer term cycle low. So I hope you guys did enjoy the content and the analysis. Once again, check out our sponsors in the link in the description below. You can sign up to ftx.us with my referral code SNOWYCrypto, or once again in the link in the description below. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.